The night my Uber driver wasn't human started so ordinary that I keep thinking I must have missed the first warning sign. It was a late Thursday. The office was almost empty, just the cleaners and the humming lights. My eyes burned from spreadsheets. My head throbbed with that familiar dull ache above my right ear. And all I wanted was the usual. A ride home, a shower, cheap food, oblivion. I ordered an Uber on autopilot. 7 minutes away. Driver Daniel 4. 98 rating. Silver Corolla. Profile picture. Forgettable guy. Dark hair. Stubble. Tiny neutral smile. I packed my laptop. Rode the elevator down. Walked through the glass lobby into the cool, damp city air. Street lights. Phone-glowing faces. The constant background noise of engines and footsteps. My phone buzzed. Daniel is arriving now. The silver Corolla pulled up right in front of me as if it had been waiting there all along. I opened the back door, slid in, and the first thing that hit me wasn't his face. It was the silence. No radio, no navigation prompts, no WhatsApp pings. Just thick, padded quiet, like the car interior was wrapped in insulation. "Hey," I said. "For Anna." "Yes," he answered instantly. He didn't glance at his phone. Didn't check my name. Just said it like he'd known it for years. I buckled my seat belt slowly. The click was weirdly loud. In the rearview mirror, his eyes met mine. Brown, ordinary if you looked fast. But they held my gaze a fraction too long. Not curious, not flirty. Measuring. Then he smiled the exact profile picture smile and looked at the road. "Home?" he asked, like he already knew the address. "Yeah," I said. "It's in the app." "I know," he said. "I've taken you before." My thumb hovered over my screen. I opened my trip history. No Daniel anywhere. I'd remember a 4.98 rating. The map showed the familiar route home. ETA 22 minutes. We pulled away from the curb. For a while, there was just city. Neon streaks, office windows, people at bus stops. I watched our little blue car move along the digital road. Then I looked up. We were on 11th. On the map, we were on 9th. I blinked. Outside, we passed the old, graffiti-covered post office. Inside the app, we glided past an entirely different set of buildings. "I think you're off the route," I said. "It says we're supposed to." "I know a faster way," Daniel said. "You're going the wrong direction," I insisted. "My place is north. We're heading." "You always worry about direction," he cut in. A cold feeling spread down my spine. "Always." He didn't answer immediately. A red light stopped us. The brake lights ahead washed his face red, flattening his features. He looked at me in the mirror again. "Check the time," he said. I glanced at the dashboard. 11:08 p.m. I checked my phone. 11:04 p.m. "Your clock's off," I muttered. He said nothing. The light turned green. We rolled forward. My phone blinked. 11:09 p.m. Now, the ETA still said 22 minutes. "You're probably just tired," Daniel said softly. "The headache is worse today, isn't it?" I froze. "I didn't say I had a headache." "You never do," he replied. "You don't like to complain." I touched the sore spot above my right ear. Pulsed under my fingers. "How did you know that?" I asked. "You rub your eyes before you get in," he said. "You squint when the streetlights hit you. Your breathing changes when pain spikes. You're easy to read." My heart was beating too fast. I opened the app, half to anchor myself in something normal. The map flickered. For a second, the streets vanished. Our car hovered over gray nothing. No names, no lines, just a blank grid. Then it snapped back. We were suddenly much closer to my neighborhood than we had any right to be. ETA 14 minutes. "It's just a glitch," I said, more to myself than to him. "It's not the app," he answered. "Then what is it?" "An optimization." "Of what?" He seemed to search for the right word. "Of distance, exposure, variables, of you." Something inside me wanted to scream. "Pull over," I said suddenly. "Right now. I'll walk." "We're almost there. Pull over." He sighed quietly and eased toward the curb. We stopped beside a long chain-link fence. A buzzing streetlight cast sickly yellow light inside the car. I grabbed the handle and yanked. The door didn't open. I yanked again. The lock was up. The handle moved. The door stayed closed. "Child lock," Daniel said. "You always forget about the child lock." "That's illegal," I snapped. "Let me out." "If I wanted to hurt you," he said calmly, "I wouldn't need a door lock." My hands shook. "What do you want?" I whispered. He turned in his seat. In the half-light his face looked ordinary. That was the worst part. The nose, the jaw, the faint stubble. But the expression lagged by a fraction of a second behind his words, like he was animating a mask. "I want you to remember," he said. A high, thin buzzing filled my ears. It seemed to come from inside my skull, right behind the ache. My vision blurred at the edges. My phone screen dimmed. Time thickened. I opened my mouth to tell him to stop. A soft notification chime cut through the fog. "We've arrived," Daniel said. I jerked like I'd been dropped. We were parked in front of my building. The lobby glowed warm behind glass. My night receptionist scrolled her phone. A couple in gym clothes came out, laughing. I checked my app. Route: exactly the usual. Duration: 22 minutes. Fare: normal. Driver: Daniel. Rating: 4.98. I didn't remember most of the ride, but my thumb still moved through the familiar motions. 5 stars. Tip: done. I got out. The door opened easily this time. I stepped onto the sidewalk, bag dragging at my shoulder, brain humming like it was full of wasps. "Good night," I said automatically. "See you next Thursday," he replied. I shut the door and turned to look back. The Corolla wasn't there. I didn't see it turning the corner. I didn't hear the engine. 1 second it had been at the curb. The next it was just gone. I stood frozen, staring down an empty street that should not have been empty. Another Uber honked behind me. A different car. Different driver. A girl in a denim jacket got in, laughing into her AirPods. Reality closed over the gap like water. "Get a grip," I muttered to myself on the way up. "You're exhausted. That's it." The next morning, brushing my teeth, I found the mark. Just behind my right ear, at the hairline. A small red, rimmed with faint yellow. It looked exactly like a healed injection point. It hurt when I pressed it. A sharp, precise pain that went deep. I told myself it was a pimple, or that I'd scratched myself. I went to work, answered emails, pretended everything was normal. The headache never fully left. The following Thursday, I took the train home on purpose. No apps, no drivers, no weirdness. My headache spiked anyway. I told myself it was the fluorescent lights. The week after, I gave in and ordered an Uber again. 11:02 p.m. Driver Michael, 4.95. Black Honda Civic. New face in the profile, beard, lighter hair, older looking. By then, the night with Daniel had blurred at the edges. Just a weird ride that freaked me out for a bit. The brain is good at sanding down things that don't fit. The Civic pulled up exactly 7 minutes later. I opened the door. The silence inside the car hit me like déjà vu. "Hey, for Anna?" I asked. "Yes," the driver said without looking at his phone. My body recognized what my brain was still denying. Same tone, same timing. I looked into the rearview mirror. New nose, new hair, new jawline, but the eyes, same. I started. "I know," he said. "It's confusing when they change the template." The word template made something inside me lurch. I grabbed the door handle. Nothing. Child lock. "Let me out," I said. "This isn't funny." He pulled away from the curb. "You're early," he said. "We usually don't start this phase until your 30s. "What phase?" My voice came out thin and breathy. "Integration." "Listen," I said, trying to sound firm and just sounding scared. "Whatever game you're playing. Do you really think this is a game?" he asked mildly. My hands shook over my phone. I opened the app, hit the emergency section, stabbed at the call 911 button. The app froze, then calmly slid back to the main screen. I tried again. Same thing. Everything else on my phone worked. Messages. Browser. Just not the part that could get me help. "You're going to hyperventilate," he said. "You always do at this part." "Stop saying always," I snapped. "We've never met before." He sighed. "How much do you remember about last Thursday?" he asked. "I took the train," I said. "Correct," he nodded. "The Thursday before?" I ordered an Uber and my brain hit a soft wall. The memory fuzzed out. He raised his eyebrows slightly. "You see, that doesn't mean anything," I muttered. "I'm tired. I work too much. Everyone forgets things." "Everyone does," he agreed. "But not like you. Not with this pattern." "What pattern?" I demanded. "You're missing the edges," he said. "The transitions. The moments you would normally use to glue events together. That's where we've been working." "Working on what?" I whispered. "On you." My throat dried. "Let me ask you something," he said. "What's your earliest memory?" "Easy," I lied automatically. The park when I..." Images flashed. A swing, my mother's hand, a blue plastic cup, a scraped knee. But when I tried to put them in order, they slid apart, like puzzle pieces from different boxes. I frowned. "It's fuzzy. Childhood memories often are. That's normal." "What day did you move to this city?" he interrupted. "That's ridiculous. I don't remember the exact." May 17th, I thought. The date popped into my mind crisp and clear, down to the year and weekday. "May 17th, I heard myself say. He nodded. "Time since relocation." 7 years? For months? 11 days. "Relocation," I repeated. "Not moved. Not came here for work. Relocation." "A precise word," he said. "We like precision." I swallowed. "Who is we?" He met my gaze in the mirror. There was no joke in his face. No just kidding pullback. "You'd say aliens," he said simply, "though the term is imprecise." I stared at him, a laugh bubbling up and dying halfway. "No," I said. "Nope, absolutely not. You are not. This is not." He reached forward and pressed one of the dome light buttons. The light itself didn't change much, but the world did. The sound of traffic outside dulled, like someone turned the volume down. The air inside the car felt thicker. My ears popped, faintly. "Look at yourself," he said. He tilted the mirror so I could see my own face. Something was wrong. I was still me. Same hair, same tired smudges, same line between my brows. But my pupils were too wide. The whites of my eyes had a faint, almost opalescent gleam, catching the dim light wrong. "I'm tired," I said. "That's all." He pressed the button again. The pressure in my ears eased. The outside sounds sharpened. My reflection shifted back to normal pupils, normal dull whites. "Perception filter," he said. "We keep you and the environment in sync. When it's off, you see what you're built to be." "Built?" I repeated. "Like a machine. Like an organism designed for a specific environment," he corrected. "You're not a robot, Anna. You're very much alive." "I was born," I insisted. "In a hospital. I have baby pictures, school photos, everything." "We built those too," he said quietly. "Records, photos, social media, plausible memories stitched from the culture around you. You saw the documents. You believed what they implied. That's what matters." "You can't just tell me I'm not real," I said. My voice cracked. "I didn't say that," he replied. "You are real. You experience, you feel, you choose. You just have more authors than you thought." I shook my head hard, as if I could knock his words out of it. "Why?" I asked. "Why go through all this trouble? Why me?" "Because this world is too different from ours to enter directly," he said. "Your biochemistry, your sense of time, your social structures, we could watch from orbit forever and still not understand what it feels like to be you. So we built lenses. People made mostly of the same stuff you are, living among you, feeding us their experience." Spies, I said. Witnesses, he corrected. Immersive observation. Deep empathy. We don't just want to know what you do. We want to know how it feels when you do it. So I'm a project, I said. A lab rat with an Uber account. You're a person, he said firmly. That's the point. We didn't want puppets. We gave you enough freedom to become yourself. And you did. I almost laughed at that. Yeah, myself. A boring analyst with student loans and 3 plants, 2 of which are dying. We chose you precisely because you are not dramatic, he said. You are the median, the middle, the invisible majority. That is where the heart of a species beats. We turned a corner. My building's neighborhood came into view, familiar and suddenly strange. My chest hurt. What did you do to my memories? I asked. We blurred anything that would point too directly at us, he said. Faces that repeat too often. Rides that break the pattern. Conversations that raise questions too early. We took slivers, not chunks. Enough to keep you stable, not enough to undo you. Stable, I said bitterly. You call this stable? You're here, he said. You're working. You're forming connections. You keep going. That's more than you give yourself credit for. Anger, fear, grief. All of it tangled together in my chest. You said, this phase. I said, integration. What does that mean exactly? It means we stop editing you as much, he said. We loosen the filters. We give you the option to know. You're reaching the point where ignorance will hurt you more than the truth. How? You already think something is wrong with you, he said. You worry about the headaches. You fear early dementia, a tumor, some invisible failure. You blame yourself for gaps you didn't cause. That kind of self-doubt erodes the data. Erodes you. So your solution is to hit me with an existential crisis instead? I asked. His mouth twitched, almost a smile. Essentially, yes, but with consent. Consent, I repeated. Sure, because I'm in such a great position to make clear-headed decisions right now. He parked in front of my building. Deja vu, same glow of the lobby. Same mundane life waiting upstairs. You have 2 choices, he said quietly. 1, we erase this conversation. Reinforce the filters. Probably switch you to a different handler. You go on with your life. Occasional gaps, headaches, a vague sense of wrongness you never quite pin down. You'll chalk it up to stress. You'll live and die believing you're an ordinary human who was simply a bit forgetful. And 2, I asked though I already knew. 2, you say yes, he said. We stop smoothing the edges. We reconnect what we disconnected. You remember, not all at once, but enough. You live with both truths. That you are human in every way that matters here, and that you were made by us with additional layers. You let us keep watching, but with your knowledge. We learn what changes when a lens knows it's a lens. And if I say no, I said, you'll just leave me half-glitched forever? You won't know what you said no to, he said gently. That's the mercy, I suppose. And if I say yes, I whispered, I might fall apart. You might, he admitted. But I don't think you will. We ran many simulations before we grew you. That is the creepiest sentence anyone has ever said to me, I muttered. His eyes softened. I know you're scared. You have every right to be. But you also know yourself. You know which possibility will haunt you more. I did. I sat there, hand on the door handle, looking at my building. I could almost see the version of my life where I chose ignorance. Go upstairs, microwave something, watch a show, scroll, sleep, forget. The other version hurt to look at, felt heavy, sharp, real. What's your real name? I asked suddenly. Not Michael, not Daniel. You, the you who's been driving me. He hesitated, then smiled in a way that finally looked genuinely human. You tried to say it when you were 3, he said. In a dream I slipped into. Your mouth made something like Noah. You were very pleased with yourself. You kept repeating it until you woke up and forgot. I swallowed. Noah, I said. The name felt right. Okay, Noah. I looked down at my hands, then back at him. You want data? I said. Here. A live sample. He tilted his head. I'm terrified, I said. I feel like my whole life is made of cardboard. I'm pretty sure I'm going to regret this either way. But if there's one thing I hate more than being scared, it's not knowing why. I took a breath that shook. So I'm saying yes. His eyes closed for a moment like he was absorbing that. Thank you, he said. For what? I asked. For trusting that you can survive the truth, he said. Not many do. He reached for the console and pressed the same button as before. The world didn't flash or swirl. It just shifted. The sound of the city flattened. The air thickened. The spot behind my ear burned hot, then cold. A pressure built in my skull, like something long rusted was being forced to turn. Memories surfaced. A younger me in the back seat of a different car, ranting about my first boss. A driver with Noah's eyes asking, what would happen if you believed you deserved better? The warm, buzzing feeling that made me actually ask for a raise a week later. Me at 26, forehead against a rainy window whispering, I feel like there's something wrong with me, like I'm missing a piece that everyone else got. Noah's voice responding, maybe the piece you're missing is just a story about yourself that hasn't been written yet. 28, mascara streaked, clutching my phone after a breakup. I think I'm unlovable, I'd said to the dark car interior. His answer, incorrect. You are simply not yet correctly mirrored. Flashes of rides in different cars with different versions of his face. All the same eyes. Nudges. Questions. Strange phrases that had stuck with me for days for no reason I could explain. Each memory slid into place like a puzzle piece I'd been carrying separately. Pain lanced from the mark behind my ear through my skull. I gasped, bracing a hand against the seat. You're okay, Noah said gently. Breathe. I did. The pain ebbed. Tears blurred my vision. All those times, I said hoarsely. All those nights I thought I was just talking to some random driver. And it was you, editing me. Guiding you, he said. Then after a beat. And yes, sometimes editing. More than I should have. I let out a shaky breath. Do you feel anything about that? He looked at me steadily. We didn't understand at first what you would mean to us. You were supposed to be instruments, comfortable ones, but still. The more we watched you stumble and try and hurt and keep going, the harder it became to treat you as just data. Do you care about me? I asked more bluntly than I meant to. Yes, he said without hesitation. I care about the experiment. I care about the data. But I also care about you, Anna. The person who gets irrationally angry at slow walkers, who triple checks that she locked the door, who cries at videos of dogs being reunited with their owners. A laugh snort broke out of me despite everything. You've been spying on my YouTube algorithm too? I said. That one is public, he said. We don't need special tools for it. I wiped my face with the back of my hand. So what now? I asked. I just go upstairs, heat up leftovers, live my little life with this enormous thing lodged in my brain? Yes, he said. That's exactly what you do. And you? I keep doing my job, he said. With you if you'll let me. With others regardless. We're scattered everywhere now, Not just drivers, nurses, teachers, cashiers. We brush against you constantly. How many like me? I asked. Enough to see patterns, he said. Not enough to be statistically comfortable. You are all stubbornly individual. Good, I said. I'd hate to find out I was just a copy-paste. You're not, he said quietly. Believe me, you're not. He unlocked the door. You should go, he added. Stay too long. And from the outside it looks like you're talking to yourself. That attracts the wrong kind of attention. How does it look, exactly? I asked. Sometimes like you're just staring into space, he said. Sometimes like you're on a call. Sometimes like nothing at all. Perception is malleable. I got out of the car, legs unsteady, cold air shocking against my face. I leaned down, hand on the door. Noah, I said. Yes. If I decide I hate you later, I said, does that mess up your precious data? He smiled, small and real. It enriches it. I rolled my eyes. Of course it does. Thank you for choosing the harder thing, he said. Thank you for asking, I replied. You didn't have to. No, he said. But I wanted to. I shut the door. This time, I watched the Civic pull away, signal, merge into traffic like any other car. It didn't vanish. But for a second, under the streetlight, the shape of it shimmered, like heat above asphalt. Then it was just taillights. In the elevator, I looked at my reflection again. I looked like me. Tired, overloaded, eyes a bit too bright. Behind my ear, the mark had faded to a pale dot. In my apartment, I dumped my bag on the couch, opened my laptop, and just sat there staring at the blank screen. Somewhere above the clouds, something watched through me. Somewhere down the hall, my neighbor's TV blared. Somewhere across the city, a barista was practicing someone's impossible name. I opened the Uber app again. My trip was there, logged like any other boring ride. Rate your driver? It asked. I ignored the stars and tapped help instead. In the box that asked me to describe my issue, I wrote, not an issue, just wanted to say thanks. For all the rides, even the ones I don't fully remember. I hit send, half expecting nothing to happen, half expecting the app to crash. A few seconds later, a notification pinged. Support. We're not sure we understand your request, but you're welcome. Smiley face. Maybe it was a random support rep. Maybe it wasn't. I turned off my phone and lay down in the dark, listening to the city breathe through the walls. The muffled bass, a distant siren, someone closing a cupboard upstairs. For most of the people in my building, the world was still simple. Humans were humans and aliens were a concept from movies. Uber drivers were just people trying to make rent. For me, the lines had blurred. My Uber driver wasn't human. But then again, I wasn't only human either. And the strangest, most alien thing in all of this wasn't the technology in my head or the eyes in the rearview mirror. It was the fact that tomorrow, I knew I'd still wake up, make coffee, go to work, complain about emails, text my friends, think about my student loans, maybe laugh at a dumb video, maybe cry at another dog reunion, maybe, at some point, order another Uber and slide into some quiet car where the air felt a little too thick. And even knowing everything I now knew, I also knew this. If someone asked me again, do you want to know, or stay asleep? I'd still say yes.